Hey, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and everyone who's ever found a penny in their couch cushions and thought, is this my ticket to millions? Today, we're diving into the wild world of coin collecting with a jaw-dropping tale about the 2009 no-mint mark bicentennial Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, this humble little penny could be worth, wait for it, $4 million, yeah, you heard that right. $4 million. So, grab your change jar, because by the end of this video, you'll be scrambling to find out if you've got one of these bad boys hiding in plain sight. Let's get into it. Why is this penny so special? Well, back in 2009, the U.S. Mint released a series of pennies to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. They featured 4 unique reverse designs showcasing key stages of Lincoln's life, like his early childhood, his years as a rail splitter, and his time in Congress. Pretty cool, right? But here's where it gets juicy. Some of these coins were minted without a mint mark. And that's where the magic happens. No mint mark means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Normally, that's not a big deal, most pennies minted there lack a mint mark. But the 2009 Lincoln penny? It's an anomaly, a rare breed. Add that to the fact that it's a bicentennial issue, and collectors lose their minds. Now, you're probably wondering, why $4 million? Isn't it just a penny? Let me hit you with some coin collector logic. Condition is everything in this game. If you've got one of these pennies in mint condition, what they call MS 68 or higher, you've basically hit the jackpot. Coin grading is like the Olympics. If your penny gets a gold medal grade, collectors will shell out insane amounts of cash to own it. Let me tell you a quick story. Last year, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, you know, the one that's like a Bermuda Triangle for random stuff. I found a handful of pennies, and one of them caught my eye. It was shiny, had some unique details, and for a second, I thought I'd struck gold, or in this case, copper. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $4 million penny. But that experience taught me to never underestimate the value of pocket change. Now, back to the 2009 penny. If you're looking to check your stash, here's what to do: examine the coin closely. Does it have a unique design from the 2009 series? Great start, look for the absence of a mint mark. If it's missing one, you're in business. And here's a pro tip: use a magnifying glass. Those tiny details make all the difference. If you think you've got a winner, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it authenticated. Sure, it'll cost you a bit up front, but if it turns out to be the penny, that's the best investment you'll ever make. Now let's talk market value. While a pristine coin can fetch millions, even less than perfect examples can still sell for thousands of dollars. Seriously, I've seen coins go for more than a decent used car. So, don't dismiss those pennies lying around. They might be worth more than your entire wallet's contents. Here's the thing: the coin market is like the stock market, it's all about supply, demand, and hype. Right now, the 2009 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is trending, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar. But trends change, so if you find one, don't sit on it too long. Strike while the iron's hot, or in this case, while the copper's cool. Alright, folks, it's time to take action. Go check your coin jars, rummage through your car's cup holders, and raid that piggy bank you forgot about. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. And here's the deal: if you find a 2009 no-mint mark bicentennial Abraham Lincoln penny, drop a comment below and let us know. Or better yet, invite me to your millionaire party. I'll bring snacks. You're cleaning out your grandparents' attic, and you come across an old jar of pennies. You sift through them, half expecting to find nothing more than a bunch of dusty copper. But then, bam! You spot it. A 1949 Lincoln penny. You squint your eyes, check the date again, and suddenly, your heart starts racing because you've heard the rumors about rare coins being worth more than your car. But is it true? Can a simple penny really be worth a fortune? Well, my friend, buckle up because today we're talking about the 1949 Lincoln Penny and why one of them just sold for a jaw-dropping $3.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $3.70 million for a single penny. Let's dive in. Most pennies from 1949 are pretty standard. They have a nice, nostalgic copper vibe but aren't exactly considered rare. In fact, the U.S. Mint churned out around almost 1 billion of them that year, so finding one in a jar like that? Totally normal. But here's where it gets interesting. One tiny detail can make a huge difference in a coin's value. And when it comes to the 1949 Lincoln Penny, it's all about the mint mark. Or, well, the lack of one. Now, you might be asking, what the heck is a mint mark? Well, great question. See, most coins have a tiny letter on them, usually under the date, that tells you where they were made. If there's no mint mark, that means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. Most of the 1949 pennies had the Philly mark, but the real goldmine here is the 1949 Lincoln Penny, with no mint mark at all. So, what makes this 1949 penny so special? Well, over time, certain rare coins, like this one, can gain value due to factors like scarcity and condition. And in 2021, a 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny, in mint condition, was sold for a staggering $3.7 million. You heard me correctly. $3.70 million. You could buy a really nice house or, heck, even a small island for that price. And this penny, my friends, was just sitting around for decades, probably hidden in some dusty coin jar, just waiting to be discovered. Here's the catch, though, the 1949 penny without a mint mark is incredibly rare, and I'm talking really rare. There are only a few known to exist in this super rare, high-quality state. So, if you're lucky enough to find one, and by lucky, I mean like winning the lottery kind of lucky, you could be sitting on a small fortune, but let's be real, folks. How many of us have that kind of luck? Not many, right? Still, there are other 1949 pennies out there that aren't worth millions, but they can still bring in a decent amount of cash if they're in really good shape or if you've got one that's slightly more uncommon. Always look for the details. Is it shiny? Does it have any weird imperfections? If so, it might be worth more than your average penny. Now, let me tell you a funny personal story. A while back, I found an old coin jar at a thrift store, full of pennies. The lady behind the counter didn't even know what she had, and I thought, hey, maybe there's something special in here. So I went home, started going through them, and after about 20 minutes of sorting, all I found was a bunch of 1980s pennies and one that looked like it had been run over by a truck. No luck on my end. But you know what? Even though I didn't find anything worth millions, it was still fun going through those coins. And who knows? Maybe the next jar I find will be the one with the $3.7 million penny, fingers crossed, right? So, here's the takeaway, the 1949 no-mint mark Lincoln Penny is a rare find, and if you ever come across one, it's worth checking out. If it's in great condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune, or at least something worth more than a cup of coffee. But even if you don't find one of these super rare pennies, keep looking. Coin collecting is all about finding hidden gems, and you never know what could be in your change jar or your grandparents' attic. If you're serious about coin collecting and want to learn more about what coins are worth checking out, and how to spot a hidden treasure, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could change your life. Who knows, maybe the next penny you find could be worth millions. Well, okay, probably not, but it's fun to dream, right? Let me hit you with a mind-blowing fact, there's a penny out there, and not just any penny, this one could be worth a whopping $3.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. It's like finding the holy grail of coins, but it's a penny. You might be digging through your couch cushions right now thinking, what have I missed? Stick around, because today we're diving into the 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark and why it's a game changer in the world of rare coins. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So, let's talk about this 1967 penny. At first glance, it seems like just another Lincoln penny. It's got Lincoln's face on it, says E pluribus unum like usual, but, wait for it, no mint mark. And that's where things get crazy. Typically, most pennies have a mint mark, which tells you where they were made. But this 1967 version? Nothing. Zilch. Nada. It's like the coin version of a mystery novel. Who made it, and why is it so special? Now, here's the wild part. These 1967 pennies didn't just fall into obscurity. Turns out, there's a handful of these rare pennies floating around out there, and if you find one, you might be holding on to a small fortune. One of these pennies recently sold for a cool $3.5 million. No, it wasn't some random lucky auction, it was a carefully authenticated, verified rarity. Just look at this beauty. You see the wear on it? Doesn't look like much, does it? But that's the magic of rarity. It's one of those situations where a small detail, the missing mint mark, makes all the difference. Now, you're probably thinking, I've got pennies all over the place, should I start sifting through them for this treasure? Here's the thing, while there are a lot of 1967 pennies out there, finding one without a mint mark is, well, let's just say it's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's rare. Like, I should have bought a lottery ticket yesterday, rare. But hey, you never know, right? I'll tell you a funny story. This one time, I was cleaning out a box of old coins that my grandma left me. I thought, sure, there's probably some valuable stuff in here. I spent hours sorting through what I thought were just junk pennies and nickels. Fast forward a few months later, I found out I'd tossed a rare coin, nothing worth millions, but still, that sting of, what if, will haunt me forever. So, back to the 1967 Lincoln penny. If you find one of these, it's best to get it checked out by a professional. Get it authenticated, and if it's the real deal, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But don't go rushing off to the bank just yet. Remember, finding one of these is like striking gold. Still, it's a good reminder to take a second look at your spare change before it ends up in the "I don't need this" pile. Alright, coin collectors and treasure hunters, before you run off to hunt down those elusive 1967 pennies, here's the deal, the coin world is full of hidden gems just like this. And who knows? You might be the next lucky person to find a coin worth a fortune. What if I told you that a penny from 1975, yes, that's a penny, not a rare gold coin, could be worth over $3.2 million today? Sounds like one of those too good to be true stories, right? But trust me, this isn't a joke. Today, we're diving into the amazing world of the 1975 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and what makes it so valuable. Now, I can already hear you asking, wait, isn't it just a regular penny? Well, sort of, but not really. Hang tight, and let's break this down in a way that even your grandma could understand, without boring her to tears. Most of the pennies you find floating around in your couch cushions are worth exactly 1 cent. If you're like me, you've probably tossed a few away without even thinking twice. But not all pennies are created equal, and the 1975 D mint mark penny is proof of that. You see, back in 1975, the U.S. Mint accidentally produced a handful of pennies that should have been struck with a different die, a die that was supposed to be used for a different year. Long story short, these pennies turned out to be error coins. Now, when most people hear the term error coin, they probably think of some tiny mistake, like a slightly off-center stamp. But when it comes to these rare 1975 D pennies, we're talking about a super rare misprint that has left collectors drooling. It's believed that only a few of these pennies exist in the wild, making them extremely valuable. If you happen to find one, you could be holding onto a gold mine, well, a penny mine. Okay, so let's break down the value. These 1975 D pennies, in excellent condition, can go for thousands of dollars. And the highest recorded sale for one of these bad boys? $3.2 million. Yes, you read that right, millions. That's enough to make you second-guess every penny you've ever thrown in the jar or skipped over on the ground. Now, I know what you're thinking. I've got 1,000,000 pennies laying around, and none of them are worth anything close to that. Don't worry, you're not alone. Most 1975 pennies aren't worth a fortune. The ones that are worth big bucks have to have specific characteristics. We're talking about the rare error ones that are both in mint condition and have that signature 1975D mint mark error. Here's the kicker, these are so rare, you could spend your whole life looking and never find one. But the key takeaway here is, if you ever come across a 1975D penny that looks even remotely unusual, hold on to it. It's the kind of thing you find on a lazy afternoon, maybe you're sifting through your change or cleaning out your pockets after a night out. But don't throw it out before giving it a quick look. Who knows, that little penny could make you a fortune. Now, I have to share a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a yard sale, just minding my own business, looking for old books and random trinkets, because, let's be honest, everyone loves a good yard sale. I spotted a small box of coins, all thrown in there like someone just wanted to unload their loose change. I almost passed it by. Who needs more pennies, right? But then, I noticed one coin that looked, well, different. That it wasn't a 1975D penny, but it was an odd one. Turns out it was a rare 1955 double-die penny, and I got it for 50 cents. Fast forward a few months, and it ended up being worth around $1,000 when I sold it. Moral of the story? You just never know what you could stumble upon, so keep your eyes peeled, and your pockets open. You could find your own small fortune. So, to wrap up, here's what you need to remember. The 1975D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth millions if you've got one of those rare error coins. Keep an eye out, and don't be too quick to discard those pennies. You might just be sitting on a goldmine. If you found this info useful, and you want to hear more about other rare coins that could make you rich, or at least help you get rid of your pocket change, hit that subscribe button. We'll be dropping tips, tricks, and strategies to help you discover coins worth money, and who knows, maybe you'll even uncover your own $1,000,000 gem. You ever stumble across a penny in your couch cushions and think, what if this thing is worth $1,000,000? No. Just me. Well, buckle up, because today, we're talking about a penny that could actually be worth millions. And not just any penny. We're talking about the 1975 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around, because this little coin could be your ticket to a sweet windfall. Now, we all know the penny. The humble little copper piece that's often brushed aside as just a penny. But here's the deal, some pennies are not just pennies. And if you happen to have a 1975 penny with no mint mark, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. So, what exactly is this 1975 penny with no mint mark? Well, it's part of a rare coin category. In 1975, the U.S. Mint was printing pennies at two main locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. Usually, coins from Denver get a D mint mark, and coins from Philadelphia, they get a little P or no mark at all. But here's where it gets interesting. Some 1975 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint and didn't get the P mint mark, which is super unusual because most Philadelphia coins from that year are marked with the P. This tiny mistake, or rather, this lack of mark, caused some of these 1975 pennies to be very rare. And when a coin is rare, people want it. A lot of people. So now, if you've got one of these babies, it's worth way more than its face value of 1 cent. In fact, some of these 1975 no mint mark pennies have sold for as much as $3 million at auction. Yep, you heard me right, $3 million bucks. Now, how did we get here? Well, for years, collectors and coin experts didn't even realize how rare these no mint mark pennies were. But as more and more people started getting into coin collecting, they realized this little error was a big deal. And the value skyrocketed. You see, rarity drives demand. The fewer of something there is, the more people want it. And with only a handful of these no mint mark pennies known to exist, they've become the holy grail of penny collecting. But, before you run off to check all your change, let me give you a quick heads up. Just because you find a 1975 penny with no mint mark doesn't automatically mean it's worth millions. A lot of factors come into play. Things like the coin's condition, whether it's been tampered with, or if it's been properly authenticated. So, if you're thinking, I've got a 1975 penny sitting in my jar of change, don't start counting your millions just yet. A lot of these pennies are worth closer to $100 or so in good condition. Here's a personal story. When I first started collecting coins, I had no idea about all these hidden gems. One day, I found a 1943 copper penny. Yes, that's a real thing, but again, rare and valuable. I was convinced I was about to retire early, only to find out it was a replica, not even close to the real deal. So, the lesson here. Not everything that glitters is gold, and not every penny is a millionaire-maker. So, let's wrap it up. If you've got a 1975 penny with no mint mark, you could be sitting on a small fortune, but don't get too excited until you get it properly appraised. There's a lot of fake or worn-down pennies out there, so always do your homework. And hey, if you're like me and want to keep learning about coins, the quirks and history behind them, and how to spot the next big thing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this kind of content, finding treasures in your pockets and learning what's actually worth something, subscribe, hit the bell, and join our community of savvy coin collectors. You never know when you might be the next person to find a rare coin worth millions. Have you ever casually flipped through a penny jar, tossed a coin into your pocket, and thought, it's just a penny, right? Well, let me stop you right there. If you've got a 2002 Lincoln penny laying around, you might just be holding onto a goldmine. Yes, you heard me right, a penny could be worth millions. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but stick with me because we're diving into why that 2002 mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth up to $2.9 million. Yup, million. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's get started. Back in 2002, the U.S. Mint made billions of pennies. Most of them are sitting in coin jars, probably gathering dust, like the rest of the change you forget about after your coffee run. But there's a teeny tiny little detail on certain pennies that can turn them into serious treasure, the D mint mark. That's right, if you've got a 2002 penny with a D on it, it could be your ticket to the big time. Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't a penny just a penny? It's only worth a cent, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the kicker. There was a rare error in 2002 that caused some of these pennies to get doubly struck. What does that mean? Essentially, the coin was stamped twice, which made the design blurry and off-center. Most of the time, errors like this get tossed out during the minting process, but somehow, a few slipped through the cracks and ended up in circulation. So, if you find one of these doubly struck 2002 pennies in your pocket change or hidden in your couch cushions, you could be holding a coin worth a whole lot more than 1 cent. We're talking up to $2.9 million depending on the condition. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but if you do, your wallet will thank you. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's cool and all, but how do I know if my penny's worth that much? It's a good question, and here's the answer. First, you need to look closely at the condition of your penny. The more error in the design, the more valuable it is. You'll want to look for a doubled image or blurry features, especially in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Also, don't forget the condition. If it looks like it's been through a few battles, like, say, a trip through the washing machine, it's not going to fetch $1 million. But a well-preserved coin with that rare double strike error? That's where the magic happens. Make sure you're checking for these things before you decide to just toss your change into the vending machine. And hey, I've got a funny story for you. A couple of years ago, I was going through a bag of change I found under my bed. Don't judge me, it happens, and I came across a 2001 penny that was a little too shiny. I thought, nah, this can't be anything special, so I tossed it aside. I went back online and read about how certain pennies could be worth more if they were in great condition. Turns out, I had a penny that was worth $20. Not exactly $1,000,000, but it definitely made me start paying more attention to my loose change from then on. Moral of the story, don't just toss those pennies, so there you have it. Your 2002 Lincoln penny could be worth a whole lot more than just 1 cent if it has that rare error. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and all it takes is a little knowledge and a lot of luck to find hidden treasures. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next person to find a $2.9 million penny. Did you know that your loose change could potentially be worth millions? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, today we're talking about a little-known coin that could have a big payday hidden inside your piggy bank. Yes, we're talking about the 2017 Abraham Lincoln penny, and get this, it's currently worth up to $2.5 million. Yep, you heard that right. $2.5 million. Now, if that doesn't make you look at your couch cushions a little differently, I don't know what will. So, grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into this crazy, coin collecting story. Okay, let's rewind for a sec. The year is 2017. The United States Mint releases its usual stash of pennies, and like always, they start rolling off the presses with that signature Abraham Lincoln design on the front. You know the one, Lincoln's face, the memorial on the back, and that teeny tiny D mint mark under the date. Now, most of those pennies are just your average, run-of-the-mill, I'm just a penny, pennies. You know, the ones you toss into the jar or leave behind at the register because, let's be honest, a penny doesn't seem like much these days. But in the world of coins, that little D mint mark can change everything. Let me tell you, when this 2017 D penny first hit the market, it looked pretty normal at first. But some eagle-eyed collectors noticed something different. You see, due to a slight manufacturing error, a very small number of these pennies were stamped with a rare and valuable error. They were misstruck, creating an unusual design that's never been seen before on a regular Lincoln penny. And guess what? A couple of these rare pennies were sold at auctions for mind-blowing prices. I'm talking upwards of $2.5 million for just one little penny. Now, I can almost hear you asking, how do I know if my 2017 D penny is one of these million-dollar ones? Well, great question. Here's where it gets a little tricky. These rare pennies have a few specific features you'll want to look for. And don't worry, I'm not sending you on a wild goose chase. The mint mark. First off, make sure it's a D mint mark. That's key. The D stands for Denver, where the minting happened. If you've got a 2017 penny with an S or no mint mark, it's probably not the one we're talking about. The error. This is where it gets interesting. These rare pennies have an error that makes them unique. You might see a doubling of the date or some funky-looking lettering. It's not something you'll spot on every penny, so if yours looks even slightly weird, it's worth investigating further. Get yourself a magnifying glass, or you can even use your phone's camera to zoom in. Condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. If your penny is all scratched up and tarnished, it's not going to fetch you millions. But if it looks shiny and pristine? Well, now we're talking big bucks. Now, before you go diving into your collection of 2017 pennies and start treating them like golden tickets, I have a funny story to share. A few months ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar. I'm talking the one filled with coins I've had for years, and I came across this 2017 penny. I got so excited, thinking it could be the one. I had a whole moment where I imagined my future mansion and new Ferrari. Spoiler alert, it was just a regular penny. But, hey, you never know until you check, right? So, what do you think? Got a lucky penny on your hands? Or maybe you'll find one after checking your change at the store today. The truth is, not every 2017 D penny is worth millions, but those rare ones are out there, and they can turn a simple coin collection into a serious payday. Keep an eye out, and who knows, maybe your next penny will be worth a whole lot more than just 1 cent. Before you go running off to check your piggy bank or your spare change, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can join me for more awesome tips, tricks, and strategies to find coins worth big bucks. I'll help you turn your coin collection into a treasure chest, one penny at a time. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.